The Joe Blackula Perspective is gonna be my outlet. I'm good at what I do. I love movies, so I'm gonna talk about them. I'm a father. I'm a music producer. I don't make beats. I'm a native Chicagoan. Southeast side, Greater Grand Crossing. I have a voice that I don't like everyone to hear. I have opinions. Sometimes I don't need everyone to know. I'm frustrated. I'm a Chiari malformation survivor. I've had 2 brain surgeries. I needed a platform, I created one. Please do not call me Joe. Call me JB. I'm creative. I am the only son of Rita and James. I am FOI. I am Jonathan 2X. And I am the infamous Joe Blackula. Cue my drop.
Joe
Blackula.
Thank you kindly. All right, I'm done. That was a good one.
Joe
Blackula.
Dobson Mars.
I just had to get this off my chest. Cause you gotta feel how I feel.
Joe
Blackula.
Sir Joe, juicy mouth.
I just moved my lips.
That was enough.
Think you gonna get away with it? Not up in here!
Get up in here!
I am Ebony Sarah Louise Kelly. You are the infamous
Joe
Blackula.
Joe Blackula. I got juicy mouth in it.
What's good with the people?
You gotta do it off my clap.
What's good with the people? Welcome to the Joe Blackula Perspective presents Behind the Curtain. Where I will either be reviewing or revisiting movies and sharing my thoughts and opinions on them. And I am your host, the Cottonmouth, infamous Joe Blackula. Cue my drop.
Joe
Blackula.
Good looking out people.
I am. Forget about me.
Wow. Okay. We gonna jump to one of my other platforms and cue this one right here. Me. Okay. Now continue.
Do I say my name?
Go ahead.
I am Ebony Sarah Louise Kelly.
Okay.
And I am not a guest. And that's why I really wanted to watch The Birth of a Nation. I've seen it 2 times before. This is my 3rd time seeing it. And I just wanted a reminder. It's just that at 50 years old, I am just learning that we need to research more about what other black men and women did than the ones that are portrayed to us in the media. Like Martin Luther King, you know, the rights to vote and everything else he did. Not taking nothing away from him. Rosa Parks, want to take something away from her, but that's a whole nother story.
What did Rosa Parks do to you?
This good?
You. Go ahead to the back.
No, I am not going to move.
Mr. Bus Driver, sir, she ain't move.
But I just want the stories they're not telling are the stories like Nat Turner. Oh my God, this movie for me is just a reminder that research, know more about what other black folks did for black folks that people are not talking about in the media and around the dinner table. Our kids need to know more about more than Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks. But Nat Turner. Is this gonna mess with my mic clapping like that?
No, you'll be alright. So let me run down my specs here.
Yeah, my bad.
So
sorry.
Mark Boone Jr., who plays Reverend, what does that say, Zolthor?
Well, the fact that his name is Reverend.
Yeah, so he played
suspect.
this. So I don't know how many of you all know who Mark Boone Jr. is. I was first introduced to Mark Boone Jr.
dirty in the movie
Batman Begins. He played this shade tree detective that worked with Commissioner Gordon, but he is mostly known for being on the FX series Sons of Anarchy. And he always looks like either a biker or a skeevy white dude. You know what I'm saying? And I'll just say this much. He was not a biker in this one.
He wasn't.
So you do the math. He was the
He's a
skeevy
greedy
preacher.
old preacher.
Yeah.
That thought he knew the word of God only because they use it only to make sure it says what they need to say as slave owners to control their slaves.
Sidebar. This movie was shot in 27 days.
Damn, that's good.
That's really good. Considering the average movie might take about 4 months, that was heavy.
I can see how they did it in 27 days. But as far as like the whole acting, the different scenes, and creating the emotion and stuff like that, that takes a long time.
So, okay, so how would you unpack the plot of the movie?
You know, I always have a hard time with this because I can never generalize the whole movie because I get stuck in like one lane. But I'm gonna try it.
Yeah.
The plot of this movie.
Wait. Has your mother seen it?
I don't think so. She don't watch
so
movies like that.
if you were going to explain this movie to your mother, how would you explain it to her? Giving her the plot, but no spoiler alerts.
Oh man, okay, I'm gonna try. The plot, okay. I'm on the spot. I get all sweaty and stuff. Okay. This movie is about a boy who from birth was poured into his life, him being a leader, the importance of his life and what he would do as he grew older. And then what the movie showed is all the things that he went through in growing older and taking on the leadership that was prayed over him and poured into him. So he had a slave owner who grew up with him as a white boy, but then became his slave master. And they became, I don't know how to do it because I'm so stuck, right? I want to go everywhere with this. Oh, okay, here it is. So the slave owner, the woman, the mother, whoever she is, the missus, what they did is that they had a plan. So when they found out that he could read, because he just saw a book and he taught himself to read, they decided that they were going to teach him the word of God, right? But through their instructions. So read the word of God. Read only some passages from the word of God, and then let me direct you on what they mean. Because what they did, they groomed him to be able to teach slave owners how to take the Bible to believe and be able to serve your master. Right?
We just generalized the movie.
I gotta work on that.
Okay, no.
I gotta work on the plot because I get so emotional on the different scenes that I have a hard time. Like, I would have to write the plot and read it. And I'm gonna try that next movie.
Okay. If I was to unpack the plot of this movie, the movie is about Nat Turner, who is someone that I did not learn about when I was in grammar school. Born into slavery, at a certain point, he had it. He got a group of other slaves together that also had it. Created a revolt. All hell broke loose.
That's a good plot.
Roll credits.
I think when anybody doing a plot, I think you do the head nod again. I think it's really important, like how they poured in leadership into him. I think that's really important because that goes back to being the chosen one. You know, a lot of times it's always like one that can do it, one that has the bravery, one that understands the purpose of his life. I think that should be told somewhere in the plot that he was the chosen one, because it opens up with his mother dragging him to this circle of like people praying, and they're telling him like, you're gonna be a leader, like God has chosen you. Like, this what makes you hit your chest, because it doesn't make a difference sometimes if it's true. If you believe it can come true. Because you can say all day long, he did this, he did that, he did that, but it was like from birth.
Yeah. A plot is more of a
not telling the story.
You gotta.
Yeah, I don't know how to do that. Nothing about my life does I can't do none of that in no place.
This would be one of her air quotes moments. This would be a brief summary. You understand? But enough to gauge interest for someone that hasn't seen it, to gauge interest without giving them the whole damn.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do next movie? I'm gonna write the plot and I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna be able to.
Spoiler alert.
You got a spoiler alert?
Spoiler alert.
Okay.
everybody died.
Everybody dies.
You see how I did that? Everybody dies. There's your spoiler alert.
That's a good spoiler alert.
Dope scene. There's a scene, where Nat Turner has a come to Jesus moment. And he finally realizes, like Popeye used to say, that's all I can stand and I can't stand no more.
You come up with some crazy stuff sometimes.
What was his name with Armie Hammer's character's name? Massa Turner, there we go.
Massa, because there ain't no T.
Yeah, and they literally put on that mask. So Nat has a come to Jesus moment with Samuel Turner. And you would think that they would have saved what happened between the two of them at the end of the movie. No. It was my man's christening that kicked it off. That kicked everything off.
Oh.
Yeah. That was a dope scene for me, especially that was his moment of reckoning.
So my dope scene is, I love it's a love is in this movie, even though everybody dies. It was a scene where Nat Turner chooses this woman, and they're having a conversation, and he gives her something, and she says, "I don't have anything to give you," and he says, "I think about you all the time. That's all I need." Oh my God, that's so dope to me because that right there for a woman, it was like we're always trying to give and I don't even know what to say.
That was dope too.
It was dope to me because she was bought. She had a hard life, and this man pursued her and he wanted her and he made her know that. So when he said that, it just hit my heart. That was a dope scene to me.
The Joe Blackula perspective is going to be my outlet. I'm good at what I do. I love movies, so I'm going to talk about it. I'm a father. I'm a music producer. I don't make beats. I'm a native Chicagoan. Southeast side, Greater Grand Crossing. I have a voice that I don't like everyone to hear. I have opinions. Sometimes I don't need everyone to know. I'm frustrated. I'm a Chiari malformation survivor. I've had 2 brain surgeries. I needed a platform. I created one. Please do not call me Joe. Call me JB. I'm creative. I am the only son of Rita and James. I am FOI. I am Jonathan 2X. And I am the infamous Joe Blackula. Cue my drop.
Joe
Blackula.
Thank you kindly. All right, I'm done. That was a good one.
Joe
Blackula. Dobbs and Mars.
I just had to get this off my chest. Cause you got to feel how I feel.
Heavy scene. A heavy scene for me. Oh, man. So there are moments when we record, what I do is I don't step on Ebony. Meaning, she has one of the most unique sneezes I've ever heard in my life. So, in my entire life. I'm going to go interrupt that. No, bless you. That's why I let
me do it the second time?
Yes,
Okay.
because I wanted to hear that Michael Jackson sneeze of yours. Heavy scene. So there's a heavy scene in the movie where Nat Turner he's pretty much been whored out as a preacher to go to these different plantations and to basically calm down the niggers with the word of God, with the Bible. This is one scene, man, where it just seems like every plantation he was going to, just the living conditions of these
Got worse and worse.
was just getting worse and worse. At first, first of all, his church was in a barn. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that, because how does that term go? When more than 2 of us are together.
When 2 or 3 are gathered together, he is in the midst.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make a difference on the outside of the building.
So what you should know is your body is your first temple.
Body is a temple.
So now the 3rd time around, well, mind you, he'd been doing this for a couple of years because they showed his time lapse. He got to this one plant. This I can't even call it a plantation. This was a house. My man had like 6, 8 slaves. And it was at that point when I think Nat realized, like, based off of what he was told, like, this is what you need to say to them. My man had it at that point. Nat had it, and he's looking in the eyes of them slaves, and them wasn't the same, you know, he didn't see the same fear that he'd seen in the other eyes of those slaves. My man saw rage in some of those eyes. And he spoke to them, and it was at that moment he realized, like, man, I can't keep doing this. Because these devils had weaponized the Bible and turned it, and it was something I think I realized that I found out some kind of way. I'm not taking any credit from it. I can't remember how I just found that out. That Nat was given, his Bible had been edited.
Yes.
He only had certain books of the Bible. So he wasn't even getting a full King James version.
Right.
Ain't no telling how many books of the Bible that he had in there. That he might only had like 6 books of the Bible that he was preaching to his congregation.
They only wanted him to read what can be meaningful to slaves to do a good job onto the masters.
Yeah. Seeing him, just seeing his wheels starting to turn, like, man, this devil snake broad that raised me, this bitch tricked me.
Set me up. The gardener snake.
The gardener snake set him up from the jump and primed him to basically raise more pacified slaves.
My heavy scene is Nat Turner did something and he was punished. So you know how they punish slaves, they whipped them. So they tied them to like a wall and they whipped them. And why it's heavy to me is because you saw him taking it. It wasn't no stop, don't beat me, like his face, he was just really taking it. And what happened is, what I've learned today watching it is a lot of times when they used to beat us and they leave us out, you know, in the open with no healing formula, no taking care of the wounds, the trauma itself can kill you. And that's how they would come the next morning and the slave would be dead because of the whips and the pain. But in this scene, why it was so heavy is because while he was going through the agony, the people, because they couldn't come out to say nothing to him, because they beat him in front of his people, which that was supposed to control the other slaves because you didn't want to get beat like that. So control yourself. And they put these candles on their steps. And it's like when he saw it, it gave him energy. And this man from that spot stood up on his feet in all that pain. So the next morning, when the slave master came out, he was standing on his feet. You know, he still respected he bowed down, he did everything. And right when they left, the pain hit so much that right when they left, he fell to his face. But in front of them, he stood ground and let him know, you can't break me. You can whip me all day long, but you cannot break me. And that was heavy to me.
A moment of digression. Here was my thought. For years, the scene in Glory when Denzel Washington, when he's getting whipped and he has that one tear roll down his eye and he's standing there, he's just taking it. You know what I'm saying? I remember during that time period, all of us were jumping up with that fist in the air screaming, Ungawa Black Power, goddammit. But the scene that Ebony is talking about trumps that as far as I'm concerned, because they whipped my man's. And then once he saw those candles, and it's like he gained the strength of the forefathers, and he stood up in them shackles. So when them damn cracker devils came to get him the next morning, he was standing flat foot on his feet, looking them dead in their eyes. Why don't we speak about that scene more often? Because of the fact that Glory was about how these former slaves fought for the Union, you understand? Fighting for the folk that were once our slave masters. So that was more for the benefit of Hollywood, for more the benefit of America. Look at how long these niggas been pacified, you understand? This movie was not about that.
That's right.
Nat Turner was pretty much like, fuck you and fuck all of you. You understand what I'm saying?
No matter what pain I'm going through, you did not break me. When I die, I break myself. I choose to die, and that's what was amazing. What if we supported each other like that? Real talk, like, because he did go against the rule. He did something, he got punished for it. And they didn't come out like, man, you shouldn't have did it. That's why you got beat. You know, you got to make sure you follow the master. None of them black folks said that. They supported him and where he was and the decision that he made.
I was born and raised in the black church, just like the black Christian church. You pick one, you understand? As most of us are. But at a certain point, my mother put me into St. Peter Lutheran theology school and church. Math, science, theology. That was it. Everything.
The magnet schools? Like a magnet school?
Not the magnet schools, the STEM, like the STEM schools.
STEM schools,
yeah. But that was really because their thing was everything else is debatable. They taught us all these different religions. And we pretty much knew the Bible from front to back by the time 3rd grade rolled around. And I'll never forget that when we used to ask questions to our teachers, the questions that the teachers couldn't answer, they'd always say, look, you don't question. You just accept it. My thing was, well, why? Why can't we ask these questions? Why, are you saying to me stay in a child's place as far as religion is concerned? Wow. And then I grew up in looking at the same white Jesus in school. Didn't think nothing about it. Nothing about it at all. But what I came to realize, the more I learned, the more questions that I got, and the more questions that couldn't be answered, you understand? And it built, honestly, in time, a resentment. I have a very deep resentment as far as westernized Christianity is concerned, just based off of the things I've learned over the years as far as being factual, not opinion, but factual. You watch either one of the Roots movies, the one that came out from Alex Haley in 77, or the more recent one back in, I think, like 2014, which was very good. It was a lot darker than the other one. When the slaves were first put on the boat, before they even were put in shackles, they were given a Bible. I think about this stuff, and it's like Nate Parker, he made it kind of subtle, but it's blatant with how, and this is fact. This ain't Nate showcasing expressing his propaganda. Right. It's fact. These slave owners weaponized the word. Period, point blank. And you talking 5, 6, 7, 8, 1,000 years later, the word is still being weaponized against us as a people. Hey, look, man, you do what you need to do as far as your connection with your creator, with your higher power. But what I'm saying is, for me, with knowing our history, is some of this stuff where I just be like, man, I don't understand. Hey, going back to my term about being ignorant again, it's once you find out about this stuff, how can you still be, okay, I can understand you still being connected with, because if you've been doing it all your life, I understand that. But, man, why not at least try to figure out, well, where did we come from here? What else, what were we doing before the fact? At least take 5-10 minutes to find out. It's like the older I get, the more I see these type of things where even with the word, and with the word has kind of kept us to stay within certain, and turn the other cheek. When Nat and the Mark Boone Jr. character, they were going back and forth with the word. And Mark Boone's character was kind of throwing at him the peaceful
about slave ownership.
Yeah, about pretty much saying do as you told, and Nat was returning back at him with the different verses, pretty much saying, hey man, vengeance is I say of the Lord. And he just kept coming back at him.
He sold him sheep in wolf clothing.
Yeah, and then and when he couldn't, when Mark Boone Jr. couldn't come back at him no more, he called him like a black bastard and hit him or something.
And ain't that how it always go?
Yeah.
When you can't fight no more, like on the right, like having facts and be able to debate, you always go low.
Ready to fight.
Yeah.
When Ebony mentioned about looking at it, I was like, man, this is gonna be a struggle for me, because this was only my second time seeing it. another movie I've only seen one other time, and that was The Usual Suspects. Once I saw that movie was so good, I applauded. I haven't watched it again, because you already know who Kaiser Soze is at the end of the movie. You ain't got to see it no more.
But a lot of times, even when you know the end, it's like, no, seeing the little details again. I haven't seen Usual Suspects.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
God,
So
then I'm glad I didn't say it, because I assumed that she did. The Joe Blackula perspective is gonna be my outlet. I'm good at what I do. I love movies, so I'ma talk about it. I'm a father. I'm a music producer. I don't make beats. I'm a native Chicagoan. Southeast Side, Greater Grand Crossing. I have a voice that I don't like everyone to hear. I have opinions. Sometimes I don't need everyone to know. I'm frustrated. I'm a Chiari malformation survivor. I've had 2 brain surgeries. I needed a platform. I created one. Please do not call me Joe. Call me JB. I'm creative. I am the only son of Rita and James. I am FOI. I am Jonathan 2X. And I am the infamous Joe Blackula. Cue my drop.
Joe.
Blackula.
Thank you kindly. All right, I'm done. That was a good one.
Joe.
Blackula.
Dobson Mars. I just had to get this off my chest. Cause niggas gotta feel how I feel.
Joe.
Blackula.